If your vegetable garden looks a little emptier than it did a month ago, good. That might be the best thing that could happen to it. Most gardeners see empty beds in July and think, well, I guess the season is winding down. The best gardeners see something completely different. They see opportunity. Here's the mistake that quietly costs home gardeners more harvests than almost anything else. They treat July like the end of the story. In reality, July is where your garden begins its second season. And once you start thinking that way, something changes. Empty spaces stop feeling like failure. They become invitations for another harvest. Today, we're counting down 15 crops you should plant in July ASAP. But by the end of this video, I don't just want you to have a list of vegetables. I want you to look at your garden differently. Because the gardeners who harvest the most food usually aren't the ones with the biggest gardens. They're the ones who refuse to let a single bed sit empty. Stay with me. Because one crop near the end completely changed the way I plan every growing season, and there's a good chance you're overlooking it too. If you enjoy practical gardening advice that helps you harvest more while wasting less time, subscribe to Serene Green Gardens. Every week, we share simple ideas that help you grow a healthier, more productive garden without making gardening feel complicated. Let's start with the crop that taught me the biggest lesson about July. Number 15. Bush beans. I almost stopped planting bush beans in midsummer. I figured I was too late. Then one year, almost as an experiment, I planted one short row anyway. That tiny decision completely changed how I looked at July gardening. About 2 months later, while my neighbors were clearing out tired plants, I was walking back into the house carrying fresh beans. That's when it finally clicked. July isn't late. It's simply a second chance. Bush beans grow fast enough that much of the country still has plenty of time for another harvest. Provider and Contender are two dependable varieties, if you're planting now. But here's something I rarely hear people talk about. Most failed July bean plantings aren't caused by heat. They're caused by impatience. Seeds need steady moisture before they germinate. Many gardeners water once, assume nature will handle the rest, then wonder why nothing comes up. Instead, water the soil before planting. Keep it evenly moist until seedlings appear. Then let the roots search deeper by watering thoroughly every few days, instead of lightly every afternoon. One layer of mulch does more work than people realize. It keeps the soil cooler, slows evaporation, and makes July feel a lot less stressful for young plants. That first row of beans taught me something I still remind myself every summer. Don't fight July. Garden with July. And once I understood that, I stopped trying to rescue worn-out crops and started replacing them instead. Which brings us to cucumbers. Number 14. Cucumbers. Can I admit something? I used to spend far too much time trying to save old cucumber vines. I'd trim leaves, treat diseases, hope for one more flush of fruit. Sometimes it worked. Usually, it didn't. Now, I do something much simpler. I plant another round. That sounds wasteful until you try it. Young cucumber plants have fresh energy, healthy leaves, and every reason to grow quickly in warm soil. In many gardens, that second planting ends up producing cleaner, healthier cucumbers than the first. Marketmore 76 and Diva are excellent choices if you're starting now. If you can, grow them on a trellis. It's one of those changes that seems small until harvest day, when picking straight, clean cucumbers suddenly becomes much easier. Here's the mistake I made for years. I blamed bitter cucumbers on the variety. It wasn't the variety. It was me. When watering swung from soaking wet to bone dry, the plants responded exactly the way stressed plants do. Once I started watering deeply and adding mulch around the base, the flavor changed more than I expected. Sometimes better gardening isn't about buying something new. It's about stopping the habit that's causing the problem. Now here's a crop that taught me another lesson. Sometimes the solution isn't protecting a plant. It's replacing it. Number 13. Summer squash. If you've grown zucchini for more than a season or two, you've probably experienced this. Everything looks fantastic. You start giving zucchini away to friends. Then almost overnight, the plants seem to collapse. The first time it happened to me, I assumed I'd done something wrong. Maybe I had, but maybe not. Summer squash naturally faces increasing pressure from insects and disease as the season progresses. That's why many experienced gardeners quietly plant a second crop instead of putting all their hopes into the first one. It's a strategy I wish I'd learned years earlier. Black Beauty zucchini and early prolific straightneck are reliable choices for July. Give them sunshine, compost-rich soil, and enough space for good airflow. Then remember this simple rule. Pick them while they're still young. People often think waiting produces a better harvest. Actually, it tells the plant its job is finished. Harvest early, and it keeps trying to make more. One Abbott. Completely different results. And speaking of crops that improve, because of timing rather than effort, the next one surprises almost everyone. Number 12. Beets. If I handed you 2 roasted beets, one planted in spring, one planted in July, there's a good chance you'd choose the July harvest. Most people don't expect that. As cooler nights arrive, beet roots naturally become sweeter. Nature does the hard work for you. That's why I don't think of July as late. I think of it as planning ahead. Detroit Dark Red is a dependable classic, while Golden Beet adds beautiful color to the garden and dinner table. Before planting, loosen the soil with compost. That one step often matters more than fertilizer, because beets develop best when their roots can grow freely. Here's another little surprise. That tiny beet seed isn't actually one seed. It's a cluster. Several seedlings often emerge together, and thinning them early gives the remaining roots room to develop properly. The bonus? Those young greens are delicious. You're not wasting plants. You're harvesting twice. The more I garden, the more I realize something. Nature rewards timing far more often than effort, and no crop proves that better than the next one. Number 11. Carrots. Carrots have an unfair reputation. People say they're difficult. I don't think they are. I think they're incredibly honest. Miss one important step, and they let you know. Get it right, and they'll reward you with some of the sweetest carrots you've ever tasted. Here's the one step that changed everything for me. Keeping the seedbed moist. That's it. Tiny carrot seeds dry out incredibly quickly during July, and once that happens, germination drops dramatically. So after sowing them in loose, stone-free soil, I simply cover the row with a piece of burlap or a wooden board for several days. Nothing fancy. It traps moisture exactly where it's needed. As soon as seedlings begin appearing, I remove the cover. That simple trick gave me better carrot germination than almost any fertilizer or gadget I've ever tried. Sometimes the biggest improvements come from the smallest changes. And that's becoming a pattern, isn't it? So far, none of these crops have required expensive products. Just better timing, better decisions, and a different way of looking at July. Because we're only halfway through this countdown, and now we're getting to the crops that convince even skeptical gardeners that July really is the beginning of a second growing season. If there's one idea I hope you're starting to believe, it's this. The most productive gardens aren't always planted first. They're planted again. That's the difference. Most people see an empty bed and think about what they harvested. Experienced gardeners think about what they can harvest next. And these final crops are the reason that mindset works so well. Number 10. Swiss chard. A friend once told me, I quit growing spinach because it always bolts. My answer wasn't, grow spinach differently. It was, grow Swiss chard. Sometimes the smartest gardening solution isn't fixing the struggling crop. It's choosing a crop that's naturally happier. Swiss chard loves proving people wrong. While many leafy greens begin struggling through the hottest weeks of summer, Swiss chard simply keeps producing. That's why I think of it as one of the hardest working vegetables in the garden. Bright lights adds incredible color, while Ford Hook Giant is dependable year after year. Here's the trick that makes people fall in love with it. Don't harvest the whole plant. Pick the larger outer leaves and leave the center untouched. A week later, there are more leaves waiting. It almost feels like cheating. One planting, weeks of harvests. And that's exactly what July gardening is all about. Number 9, turnips. Can I tell you the biggest mistake people make with turnips? They judge them before they've grown them. Most people remember overcooked turnips from years ago and never give them another chance. That's unfortunate, because modern varieties like Hakare have changed a lot of minds. They're crisp, sweet, almost apple-like when harvested young. But here's what makes turnips even smarter for July. You don't have to wait for the roots. Long before that, you can already begin harvesting nutritious greens. That's 2 harvests from one planting. The more I garden, the more I appreciate vegetables that keep giving instead of asking for more work. Turnips quietly do exactly that. Number 8. Kale. Here's something I used to believe. The earlier I planted kale, the better. Now I intentionally plan for fall. Why? Because kale has taught me patience. Cool autumn nights transform it. Leaves that tasted slightly bitter in late summer become noticeably sweeter after the weather begins changing. It's one of those moments that reminds you, nature often knows better than we do. Lacinato and Red Russian are both excellent choices depending on the texture you prefer. If cabbage worms are common in your area, cover young plants early. It's much easier than trying to solve the problem later. And if you've never tasted kale after a few chilly nights, you're in for a pleasant surprise. Now let's change gears completely, because this next crop rewards you almost immediately. Number 7. Radishes. Not every victory in the garden has to take months. Sometimes you just need a quick win. That's why I love growing radishes in July. Many are ready in about a month. That might not sound exciting until you've spent weeks waiting for slower crops. Then suddenly, those little roots feel incredibly satisfying. French breakfast and cherry belle are two dependable choices. Here's one mistake that's easy to make. People leave them in the ground because they think they'll keep improving. Usually the opposite happens. Harvest them while they're young. They're sweeter, crisper, and far less likely to become woody. Sometimes gardening rewards speed. Sometimes it rewards patience. Knowing the difference is half the battle. Now, let's talk about the vegetable almost nobody expects to see on a July planting list. Number 6. Cucamelons. The first time someone handed me a cucamelon, I laughed. It looked like someone had shrunk a watermelon. Then, I tasted it. Crisp, refreshing, with a slight citrus flavor. I planted them the following season just out of curiosity. Now I grow them almost every year. Not because they're trendy, because they're reliable. While regular cucumbers sometimes struggle through long stretches of intense heat, cucamelons seem perfectly happy climbing higher and producing more. Give them a sturdy trellis and they'll reward you with handful after handful of tiny fruits. Every visitor asks the same question. What are those? It's one of the few vegetables that becomes both food and conversation. And now we've reached the top 5. This is where July stops being about extending the season and starts becoming the reason your fall garden succeeds. Number 5. Bok choy. Here's a gardening myth that's worth forgetting. Bok choy should only be planted in spring. Not necessarily. In many gardens, July produces better results. The plants establish in warm soil, then mature as temperatures begin cooling. That means fewer problems with bolting and beautifully crisp heads just when you're ready for soups and stir-fries. Baby choy and joy choy are excellent choices. Keep the soil evenly moist while plants establish, and you'll be surprised how quickly they reward you. Sometimes, success isn't about changing the crop, it's about changing the calendar. Number 4. Green onions. I don't think green onions get enough credit. They'll never be the star of your vegetable garden, but they'll quietly become one of the most useful. Think about how many meals become better with a handful of fresh green onions. Now imagine never making a special trip to the grocery store just for them again. Evergreen Hardy White and Tokyo Long White are dependable choices. Here's my favorite part. Don't pull them. Trim them. Leave the base in the ground, and many will continue producing fresh leaves. That's the kind of harvest I appreciate most. One that keeps coming back. Number 3. Broccoli. If you'd asked me years ago when to plant broccoli, I would have said spring without hesitation. Now, I actually look forward to my July planting. Here's why. Broccoli doesn't enjoy producing large heads during intense summer heat. But when those heads mature in cool autumn weather, the difference is remarkable. Green Magic and Belstar are two dependable varieties. Mix compost into the soil before planting, and keep moisture consistent while heads develop. Then remember something many gardeners miss. After harvesting the main head, don't pull the plant. Many varieties reward your patience with delicious side shoots for weeks afterward. One harvest becomes many. That idea should be sounding familiar by now. Number 2. Cabbage. Cabbage asks for patience, but it pays you back. There aren't many vegetables that feel as satisfying as cutting into a firm head you grew yourself. Stonehead and Bravo are reliable choices for late-season harvests. Give plants room to grow. Feed the soil with compost, instead of relying only on fertilizer. Check beneath the leaves regularly for cabbage worms before they become a larger problem. Here's something I remind myself every year. Healthy gardens are usually built through consistency, not complicated techniques. Small habits, repeated often. That's what creates great harvests. And that brings us to the crop I promised at the beginning. The one that completely changed how I think about July. Number 1, collards. There's one reason I saved collards for last. Not because they're the fastest. Not because they're the most popular. Because they perfectly represent what this entire video has been about. Thinking differently. Most gardeners overlook collards because they're chasing the vegetables everyone else talks about. Meanwhile, collards quietly thrive. They handle heat beautifully. They become sweeter as temperatures cool. And instead of harvesting the whole plant, you simply pick the outer leaves while fresh ones continue growing from the center. That's not just another harvest. That's a different way of gardening. Champion and Georgia Southern are both excellent choices for July planting. If your goal is producing fresh food for as long as possible, with the least amount of maintenance, few vegetables compete with them. And that's the real lesson hiding behind today's countdown. July isn't where your garden ends. It's where smart gardens begin their second season. The next time you harvest garlic, plant something else. When your onions come out, plant again. Every empty space is another opportunity waiting for you. Don't measure your garden by when you started. Measure it by how long you can keep it producing. I'd love to hear from you now. What's the first crop you're planting after watching this video? Or is there a July favorite that always earns a place in your garden? Share it in the comments. Your experience could help another gardener make the most of their second season. And if today's video changed the way you think about July gardening, you'll love the next one, where I'll show you how to keep harvesting fresh vegetables long after most gardens have stopped producing. It builds directly on everything we've talked about today, and will help you make every square foot of your garden work harder. Until then, happy gardening. And remember, don't fight July. Garden with July.